What's up? This is the verbal journal, guys. In case you forgot. It's been a while. Here, let me get comfortable here. Let me stuff everything in my purse here. Any important correspondence? Not really. Except the person who was supposed to be doing the verbal journal with me today, my coworker, Tori, she bailed. So, but I still had the reservation, and I thought, I haven't done the verbal journal in a long time. Like, maybe I should. That was what I thought. And there's a lot of contributing factors to why I haven't been doing the verbal journal. For one, I am a college student, and life gets busy, guys. I mean, stuff happens, and there's a lot of important things in my life: friends, family, work, this, and sometimes you have to choose one of those important things over the other. And sometimes things happen out of your control that kind of take away from your ability to do certain things. There's a couple of things that happened that really affected my ability to make these programs for you. And I don't feel like talking about it right now. I might talk about it before the end of the program today, but maybe I won't. So, what are you going to do about it? Well, how are you? I've been pretty good. I've been doing great. I mean, school started a couple weeks ago, and I have this terrible habit where I start school, and it's the beginning of the quarter, and I tell myself, all right, well, it's the beginning of the quarter, so it's the first week, so there's really no need to grind right now. I can kind of slack off, and because of that, I often start behind. I begin the quarter in a deficit, which is a terrible thing. One moment. Yeah, it's not ideal. Not ideal, and I've done that. This is like my 5th quarter total at Spokane Falls Community College, and I have done that for 4 out of the 5 because I did not do that this time. So I made a promise to myself that I was going to actually do my work right when I got it, and hell, maybe even start a little bit ahead. Isn't that a novel idea? So I have been doing that, and it's crazy. I'll tell you, it's crazy how much peace you feel when when you're ahead or on track. Isn't that crazy? Yeah, you just feel at peace, And here's the thing that's really stressful about being behind at school or on a particular day. I'll tell myself I'm gonna go to the library and study, and then I'll go to the library. And then I'll work for 30 minutes, sort of. I'll be checking my phone. I'll be like, oh, you know what? I kind of want to journal right now while I'm supposed to be studying. And then I just decide, I'm kind of hungry. I think I'll just leave school right now. I think I'll just go home. And that's real, dude. I'll just straight up do that. And then, and I'm like, well, once I get home, I still have 3 hours before work. Then I'll get all my work done. And then I get home, and I don't do anything, I do something, but I don't do anything of note. I'll just, sweep the floor, which I don't like sweeping and mopping the floor. But it's kind of this amazing... Our brains are always trying to, protect us. And basically... And I almost feel like my mind is trying to protect me when the thoughts come into my mind. It's well, actually, you really need to mop the floor right now, even though it's, I don't need to do that. And so I end up doing something like that, and then boom, 3 hours goes by. It's time to go to work, and there's this shame that comes over me when I'm at work. I'm a server at an unspecified restaurant somewhere in the Spokane area, and I tell people I'm in school. And this shame comes over me because, I am in school, but I'm not doing everything I gotta be doing, you know? I'm a student, but it's almost like I'm not really a student because I'm not even doing student things. Because students do their work and they stay on track, and maybe they get a little ahead, and maybe they're reading that thing that their teacher told them to read. And I just don't, I've had a habit of just like never doing that, you know? And it's not my fault. No, it is my fault. But here's the thing. It's like some people who are in my position where they go back to school, like, because for example, I took 5 years off and I went back. Some people who are in that position, they go back, they know what it feels like to go to high school and to get a 3.0, 3.2, you know, which is decent. You know, they know what it's like to go home and do homework on a consistent basis and to get B's on their tests. And but I never did that, you know. I graduated from Ferris High School with a solid 2.3 GPA, you know, which is embarrassing. It's definitely embarrassing, but you know, is it that embarrassing though? Because who are we in high school? We are little children walking around. Hormones are filling our bodies for the first time ever, and we're just kind of cracked out on these hormones. And we have no idea what we're doing, why we're doing it, what we're supposed to be doing. So, do I wish I would have tried a little bit harder in high school? Yes and no. To a pretty notable extent, it doesn't really matter at all. But it would have been nice to have that muscle memory to go back to where it's like, oh, I know what it's like to work hard in an academic setting. But I didn't. Now I do. A couple quarters ago, I took lifespan psychology. It was an incredible class. You'll never guess what we learned about. The lifespan, you know, from being in the womb to being an elderly person, hopefully, that ultimately passes. And in that class, I got a 94%, you know? I don't think I think that was the first time, I could be wrong. I think that was the first time that I ever got an A in a class. I think. Yeah, I think I got, you know, mostly C's, some D's. I got a B every once in a while. There's some B's scattered in there. Algebra 1, freshman year of high school. Did okay in that, you know. I've never shown this special talent that I have on the verbal journal, but I can't think of a better time to do so than right now. Come here, dude. Let me show you guys this, because you know, there's a lot of people who know me who may be watching this program right now. Okay? And you know, there's this, like, at my workplace, like, I have this reputation for being a little bit of a dingus, you know? And people almost treat me like I'm some idiot, you know? And I don't think I am, because have you ever heard of the Dunning-Kruger effect? I don't really know much about it other than, like, the basic idea is that really smart people are super aware of how much they don't know. And really dumb people think they know everything, you know? And like when I was a teen and when I was in my early 20s, late teens, I felt so content because there was so much I didn't know, but I wasn't aware of what I didn't know, you know? So, you know, now I'm in a place where I'm constantly stressed out because of, you know, like, is what I'm doing right now correct? Am I going the right place? What am I going to do tomorrow? Is that something to be proud of? I always think about stuff like that, you know, all the time. So is that a sign that I am indeed an intelligent person? I don't know. Would be nice though. But anyway, this is the thing. Okay, I'm going to use this camera right here cuz all right. Boom, 40 74. 40 times 74 is 2,960. That's my special talent. But, you know, maybe I got lucky. Maybe that was just dumb luck. Maybe I am truly dumb and that was dumb luck. Well, let's try again. 76. Oh, gosh, I don't know about 76 times 99 is 7,524. Told ya. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. You still, maybe third time is the charm. Third time is to show how dumb I am. Not true. 52 times 37. Okay, this is hard. 1,924. So, what? What, dude? Okay, let's go. A couple more. 64 times 62. Oh boy. 3,968. Okay? Alright, we're gonna do one more. I'm gonna stop bragging here, okay? 52 times 96. Okay, this. Alright. Oh shit, okay. Alright, shit. 52 times 96. 4992? Hey Siri, what's 52 times 96? $49.92. Dude, I'm telling you, it's like there's a lot of things I'm not great at. I'm an extremely forgetful person. I'm very easily distracted. I get very fixated on things that I really like to do, and I neglect things that I don't want to do but are also important. But that's like a thing that I'm good at. Like when I was a child, I went to this like math academy program thing called Kumon. It is where the smoke shop is on 30th, you know, next to the 7-Eleven, next to the dispensary. Like that used to be Kumon, you know. Now people will it's crazy. It actually is crazy because now cuz before like people like kids who were like with a lot of promise would go in there, you know, and they would sharpen their skill, they would hone their mathematical skills, and now people with short-term memory loss go in there to get medication that makes their short-term memory loss even worse. So it's kind of like it's kind of poetic in a way. I got to ask you guys a question. You know, there was that thing that was happening on the news. Anybody watch the news? I watch the news because I'm at my grandparents' house quite a bit. So the news is always on. I got to give them credit, though. First, let me just say one thing. Mainstream news is, like, disgusting. I personally, I can't stand it because there's an agenda. There's an agenda with everything, but specifically mainstream news absolutely has an agenda. And, you know, so, you know, like the stereotypical boomer who watches Fox News and, you know, they'll watch it for many hours a day, the same stories on repeat for hours and hours and hours, and then once a year when their families get together for Christmas, they just start repeating everything they heard over the course of that year on Fox News. It's tough, dude. It's tough. But on the news, I saw that there was that mission to the moon or to the backside of the moon, like Artemis 2 or something. You know, I'm going to get wild here for a second, all right? I just want to warn you. I don't know how you guys are going to feel about this, but I don't care. This is for me. This is my program. Do you think like we actually went to the moon? Like, do you think so? I don't know. Because in order for me to say that we did or didn't definitively, it would mean that I would have evidence that we did or didn't, which I do not. But I just don't get it. Because, what was it, 1969 that we went to the moon? Everything else technologically has gotten so much easier and more accessible since then, except for going to the moon. Except for going to the moon. And why is that? I don't know. Like, we haven't been since. We haven't landed on the moon since 1969. Can you think of another thing that was accomplished in 1969 that isn't possible today? It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't follow the patterns that have taken place over the last 57 years. It just doesn't make sense to me. And also, maybe we did land on the moon, you know? They said we did. Who knows? They also said that aliens weren't around ever and they didn't exist and that Bob Lazar was a complete lunatic. And then 35 years later, they're like, oh, actually, it is. They are here. They have been here. We do have their stuff. It's, So, to take everything that is said to us by the higher-ups at face value seems to be a foolish thing to do. It seems to be foolish. I don't know. Maybe I'm a fool. It's quite possible. But I don't know, dude. It's just weird. This is just someone else's opinion. I haven't looked into this at all. But apparently, that video. Apparently, I've never been on a spaceship or on a roller coaster before. I lost my train of thought. Oh, apparently, the press conference when they got back from the moon, apparently, like, those people looked, like, really guilty. I don't know. What do you think? Is that an insane thing to say? I don't know. I haven't seen the video. Why am I even saying that? I just, like, the way that I watched, like, a podcast, someone was talking about it, and they said that it seemed like those people seemed so guilty, as if, like, they had just stolen something, Like, they just didn't seem like the people that had just accomplished something so surreal. They didn't seem like, they're so proud of it. I don't know. Where there's smoke, oftentimes in this world, where there's smoke, there's fire. When something seems weird, oftentimes it's weird. Casey Anthony, it made no sense. She called the police 3 days after her daughter went missing. And that just didn't make sense. Oftentimes as human beings, we don't trust our intuition enough. And especially, we learn to go against our intuition when it opposes the status quo, And that's what we got going on. That's what we got going on in the us versus them, the two-party system. I spent 3 years in Bellingham. It's probably the most liberal place in Washington for sure. I couldn't say about the whole of the United States. I traveled more internationally than I have domestically, so I couldn't really say. But it's kind of like that. In Bellingham, when COVID started, I was just a kid. I was curious to some extent, not as curious as I am now, but I was curious. I saw signs saying, like, you have to have a vaccine to come into this restaurant. And I asked my girlfriend at the time, I was like, well, what if someone can't get the vaccine? Like, what if they're, like, allergic to it? I know that's a thing, right? Some people, like, couldn't get it because they had, like, a reaction to it. And she told me, no, everyone has to get it, And that was, like, maybe she really believed that, but there's a lot of people that, probably more people than you'd think, were thinking, like, myself included, which I voiced it, but you're just afraid to even ask questions that goes against, like, one party, in this case, the Democratic Party, or the liberal sort of mindset about things. You're just afraid to go against that, like, and that's unfortunate, because one of the beautiful things about living in America, and one of the beautiful things about being a human being, is that is the ability to just go and question everything. Just be curious and ask questions and get to the bottom of things, and to live your life, like, in constant pursuit of truth, and fact. And a lot of people probably like avoid that beautiful journey out of fear of I don't know, being excommunicated from whatever culture they're a part of, for sure. I think that's for sure the case. Absolutely. Hey, did you guys watch UFC 327? Yuri Prochazka versus Carlos Ulberg. If you've watched the channel before, I haven't talked about it a lot, but I am a huge mixed martial arts fan. Huge. One of my last episodes was the predictions for Paddy Pimblett versus Justin Gaethje, UFC 324, that whole card. I did pretty well. I got Arnold Allen versus Gene Silva wrong, but I said that my opinion is probably skewed because I'm a huge Arnold Allen fan. So, and I did say that there was no way that Justin Gaethje was losing to Paddy Pimblett, and he won a 5-round decision. When I was watching that fight, though, that first round, the way they were going at it, I thought there was no way that fight was going 5 rounds. No way. Yeah, it was an incredible fight. I think we may have seen Paddy Pimblett's ceiling to some extent. I think, unfortunately, because he was throwing every single thing he possibly could at Justin Gaethje, and it wasn't doing a lot. It's not like he didn't hurt him. It's not like he didn't make Justin Gaethje dig deep. He certainly did, but he was like Paddy Pimblett. Like, he showed so much heart, and he put everything out there that he possibly could, and it wasn't enough. Unfortunately, it just wasn't. Yeah, it was tough. But in the lead up to that fight, I just didn't see it happening. Because Paddy Pimblett had fought 2 top 15 guys. He fought number 15 Bobby Green and number 7 Michael Chandler, who had lost like 3 out of his last 4, I believe, and he was 38 years old. So it seemed unlikely that Paddy Pimblett had been tested enough to know where he really stands, like in the elite of the lightweight division. Anyway, I digress. Sean O'Malley, I got right, 3-round decision. Waldo Cortez Acosta beating Derek Lewis, got that. Yeah, but the UFC 327, insane. Carlos Ulberg busting up his knee, dude. We've seen this before. TJ Dillashaw versus Aljamain Sterling. TJ Dillashaw's shoulder pops out of place right away, and we're like, I knew it, dude. I was like, oh, man, this is over. And this same sort of thing crossed my mind when I saw Carlos Ulberg, hobbling on one leg, wincing visibly. Yeah, so I'm like, it's just a matter of time before this absolute savage Jiri Prochazka takes him out. Jiri charges in, boom, left hook over the top. Crazy, dude. And it's worth noting that, one of Jiri Prochazka's, like, one of his best characteristics is his durability. But, I think he got knocked out when he was fighting in Ryzen pre-UFC. And he got knocked out twice by Alex Pereira. And he gets hit a lot. That's kind of his style, dude. He's just kind of in your face. So, like, we're only human. Like, you almost think sometimes that Jiri Prochazka is not human because he's such a strange guy. But I don't know, at some point it has to catch up with him. And maybe it is. Maybe it is catching up with him. And that sucks, dude. That really sucks. It does. Yeah. Co-main event. Did anyone know who Josh Hokit was before this last weekend? Any of you MMA fans? Any of you casuals who watched? I had heard things about him, like he was super, like, pro-USA, like, super patriotic and, like pretty obnoxious about it. But not even in like a real sense. He wasn't, not even in an authentic way was he like being patriotic. He just like, you just memorize these things and you just say it, he's just like weird, It's kind of like Colby Covington in a way because Colby Covington's shtick is so scripted. He's not relatable at all, So I had no idea what to think. I knew that he was like popular because they matched him up against the number 5 ranked heavyweight in the world, Curtis Blaydes, and and it was just crazy. It was crazy seeing him compete with Curtis Blaydes like that. And not only compete, dude, he was busting him up. He was absolutely busting him up. It was insane. It was crazy. And now he's in the top 5 of the UFC heavyweight division. Absolutely crazy. It was just wild. Absolutely crazy. Yeah, and he's a great athlete. The way they were going at it at the beginning of the fight, they're heavyweights. I was like, oh man, this is going to be really boring. If this goes to rounds 2 and 3, this is going to be truly sad to watch. Two heavyweights completely exhausted, plodding around, mouth breathing. It's never a good thing. If you're an MMA fan, you know. If you know, you know. It's a bad thing. It's a bad thing to watch. But yeah, props to both of them. Props to Curtis Blaydes for being one of the toughest people we've ever seen. It's crazy. So much respect. Such a hard sport. I've never even competed in the sport, but I've been punched in the face a lot, and it's tough. When you get hit, really hard in the face, across the jaw, and you see your life flash before your eyes for a split second, so much doubt creeps into your mind, and you start backing up, and you wonder, do I really want to do this? Like, that happened to me when I was just sparring in the gym. It's like, do I actually want to fight? Because Jonathan just cracked me hard, and he keeps kicking my leg, and I can't feel it. Like, maybe I just want to go home and load up a bowl, These are the things that would cross my mind. Anyway, yeah, it was wild. But those guys, these dudes who fight at an elite level, they're human beings, so they have some quit in them, but they are so good at silencing those thoughts. And they so badly want to wade into the fire to satisfy something within their souls, Gotta respect it. I wouldn't recommend it, So that wouldn't seem to be the best thing to do with your time. But, some of these guys, if they weren't fighting, they'd be in jail. They'd be breaking into your house. So what would you rather have, Personally, I'd rather watch them compete in mixed martial arts than have them vandalize my home. Some of them, not all of them. I don't want to be mean. Yeah, crazy. There's a lot of other stuff, but I just want to talk about Aaron Pico. Man, did you guys see UFC 319? He made his debut versus Lerone Murphy. Did you see that? Dude, that was not good. The way that he got knocked out with that spinning elbow, it was terrifying. It was terrifying. Also, I was very sad because I knew who he was. Big star in Bellator. He made his debut in Bellator at 19 years old. I think he lost. He got wobbled. He got dropped really badly and then submitted. And he's been knocked out a few times. But his durability is certainly a question. In fact, it's probably a statement that he is kind of chinny, which, some people are just genetically they just have a great chin, and also he did box for a while, so he has taken a lot of damage. But one thing that is undeniable is that he is such a gifted athlete. So watching him slowly gain his confidence, halfway. He really started to find his flow, and he started to feel more confident halfway through that first round against Patricio Pitbull. When he just started teeing off on him, throwing the hook, going in for the double leg, it was he is so good. He is so good. It was watching that fight, it was dude, this guy could be a world champion, Unfortunately, no matter how good you are, no matter how skilled you are, you have to be able to take damage. You have to, It's a brutal sport. Yeah, but yeah, this camera. What is? I have 8 minutes left. I bought some SD cards before because I would have brought my own SD cards, but I have a Nikon, and I'm at the library right now, and they have Lumix cameras. So they're formatted for Nikon automatically. So I bought some SD cards from a Walgreens over yonder, and they're terrible. So that was unfortunate. It was like $65 for both of these. So, you know, yeah. But make no mistake, I am a rich man. I'm a college student who works part-time, and obviously I'm extremely wealthy. That goes without saying. But yeah, dude, life has been good. Life's good. I'm very content at the moment. I I made a really sad decision. I made a decision that I quit Jiu Jitsu in January. Yeah, it's really sad. Why? I don't really want to talk about it. You know, it's vulnerable. Um, here's what I'll say. I quit Jiu Jitsu because I've had a lot of injuries, and I always think about the future and what it's gonna look like, and I'm really worried about the future for many reasons. Um, so I just didn't. I don't want to do like things that risky anymore. Damage every part of me. I just don't want to do that anymore. So not doing jujitsu. Officially retired from martial arts. Basically been grappling since I was 18 years old when I did my first season of high school wrestling. So it's a bitter pill to swallow, to mourn that loss. It's like I'm losing a part of myself. But one thing I had been doing since December of 2024, climbing, dude, rock climbing at Wild Walls, and it's an amazing sport. I absolutely love it. And as soon as I made the decision that I was going to quit jiu-jitsu, I was just like, well, I'm a climber now. You know, that's just how it is. That this is going to be my thing now. So I've been going consistently twice a week for like the last 12 weeks, I think. And I'm getting good at it. It's really amazing. I think I'm going to do a course through Spokane Mountaineers. I'm going to learn how to lead climb, which is terrifying. Should I even explain what it is? Yeah, it's kind of... Okay, so, for those of you who've never climbed, you have a rope and it goes, like, all the way down. And as you're going up, someone's belaying you. They're, like, pulling the slack. As you climb up, there's, like, slack, and then they pull it. So then when you fall, you don't fall to your death. But lead climbing is when you have the rope on the ground. It's not tied up. It's not tied up like above, And as you climb, you're clipping it in yourself to the bolts that are on the wall. So let's say you clip to one bolt, and then the next one's 10 feet up, and you climb 8 feet. You fall like really far. You fall more than 8 feet because you fall like 8 feet plus the length of the rope. So, it's really scary. But that's the next step for me, Like, this is my thing. This is my thing now. And I'm really long. I'm really gangly. I'm 5 feet 11 inches tall, but I have a 64-inch reach. So that's 6 foot 4 inches. I have huge hands, size 12 feet. So I'm kind of made for climbing a little bit. And the strength that I got from all the years of like grappling and kickboxing and stuff, it served me well in climbing. And it's like my new passion. And I very much like it. It's incredible. When I'm doing a route and I'm getting extremely exhausted and I don't think I'm going to be able to complete it, and I do, for a split second, it almost scratches the itch that jiu-jitsu used to scratch, where that triumphant feeling when someone has you in a choke and they're like about you, and you start to see the light, and you start to pass out, and then you get out of it. And then you get on their back and you choke them out. It's one of the most triumphant things that anybody can experience. I promise you that. It's unbelievable. So, but I cannot do that anymore. And it's tough. It's really tough. So, it is what it is, though. It is what it is. I would talk about it more, but I don't want to. So, yeah. But, yeah, it's pretty good. I'm seeing a woman. Very cool woman. I think I'm going to have her on the podcast. We've been dating for a couple months, 2.5 months, something. She's pretty cool. I watch movies with her. I'm a huge Spider-Man fan, as you guys know. As you might know if you're a fan of the show, Spider-Man helped me discover my sexuality, and it's not what you think. Go back and watch the episode. It's not what you think. It's not what you think. But so I watch movies with her, and she's like paying attention. She's making observations, She's a very smart gal. Hopefully I'll have her on the show. She's down. So we're gonna figure out a day to do it. It'd be really rad. Yeah, it'd be pretty cool. Pretty cool indeed. Yeah, life's so good. I'm really proud of everything that I'm doing right now. I'm on my way to becoming the man that I've always wanted to become. I'm doing the hard things. Saying yes, saying no. Saying no is hard. It's a skill. It's just everything's heading in the right direction. And Adam Donnelly wants to come back on the podcast. I told him I was really upset because if you guys didn't notice this, then you're probably a square. But when Adam Donnelly showed up to do the podcast, he was very intoxicated. So, yeah, it was tough. It was really, really tough. And I told him, like, dude, you're not ever coming back on the show because you showed up extremely intoxicated and you were very incoherent. And then he's like, yeah, I get it. I'm sorry. And then he told me that he's trying to get sober, And that, that's a redemption story. I'm very happy for him. I might have him back on. Could be cool. Also, we're going to discuss the mental health crisis in the comedy world. So, yeah. That's pretty much it for me. This one has 37 seconds left on it. That one has 2 minutes and 30. That one has 2 minutes and 30 seconds left on it. Yeah, sorry if this episode sucked, guys. I'm just getting back into it. It's been a couple months. A lot's been going down, good and bad. Yeah, might talk about it more later, but it's a touchy subject right now. It makes me sad. So yeah, I don't know. I'm pumped. Today's been a rainy day here in Spokane, Washington. Yeah, real rainy indeed. Dumping, coming down. It's not exactly shorts weather, but it has been. So when I woke up this morning, I put on the shorts, walked outside, and I was like, oh no, I made a mistake. But it was time, I had to get to class. So, yeah. Thanks for watching, guys. If you made it this far, the way I feel about this episode today is that it wasn't very good, but if you made it this far, that's cool. Thanks, guys. This is the Verbal Journal, live from the downtown Spokane Library. I'm out.